November 2024.
November 2024.
Then February 2025.
February 2025.
We just saw her on our TV screens.
Saqala sambona kumabonakude bethu.
Going like, it's not going to be business as usual.
Esisho ukuthi angeke nje kufane njengaqala.
It was like, now I'm back.
Esisho ukuthi manje ngibuyile.
And I'm going to make sure that you are regulated.
Futhi ngizoqinisekisa ukuthi ibandla liyalawula.
And she keeps on saying that this is urgent.
Futhi ebebanesha ukuthi lokhu kuyaphuthuma.
You have to be controlled.
Nifanele ukuthi nilawulwe ngoba lokhu kuyaphuthuma.
You are abusers.
Nina ningabahlukumezi.
You have to be controlled, to be dealt with.
Nifanele ukuthi nilawulwe.
You know what has been said and what is being said even now.
Niyazi okushiwo nokushiwoyo namanje.
So all the things that you see happening, they've got a background.
Zonke lezi zinto enizibona zenzeka kukhona la zisuka khona.
Now the enemy wants to cut off the head.
Manje isitha sifuna ukususa ikhanda.
So that the church does not exist anymore.
Ukuzibandla lingaphili.
Unfortunately, we are still here. Unfortunately for him, we are still here on earth.
Ngeshwa sisekhona.
And we cannot fold our arms
Futhi angeke sigoqe izandla.
and just allow the will of the devil to prevail.
Ukuthi simvumele uSathane ukuthi aphumelele.
Now, coming back with you having that background and an understanding of why we are where we are.
Ngoba usunawo umlando wokwazi ukuthi sila ngoba sila sikhona
With
namhlanje.
that understanding also that the church is a disturbance to the plans of the enemy.
Ngokwazi ukuthi ibandla liyisiphazamiso kwinhlelo zikaSathane.
Let us look at this which is happening now to the church.
Ake sibheke lento eyenzakalayo ebandleni manje.
The attempts to control the church.
There are
The attempts to control the church, to control how you worship, how you do your worship, how you run church, how you do things in your church.
kunemigomo ebekiwe ibandla elizolawulwa ngayo.
Those attempts
Le migomo
are intensifying right now as we speak.
imile futhi iyadlondlobala.
CRL is now holding consultation sessions.
uCRL naye unemihlangano abanayo.
Despite the protests
Ngaphandle kwemibhikisho
by churches,
eyenziwa ngamabandla.
CRL is going ahead.
uCRL usaqhubeka.
And despite court cases that are there at the High Court,
Ngaphandle kwamacala asenkantolo ephakeme.
CRL is pushing ahead.
uCRL usaqhubeka.
You would ask yourself that question.
Uzoyibuza
Why this agency?
yini le eyenza ukuthi kuphuthume
Why
kangaka?
this agency?
Yini le eyenza ukuthi kuphuthume
When the
kangaka?
people
Ngoba abantu
are saying
bethi
no,
yekela.
when the people are saying stop,
Abantu bethi cha yekela.
what is happening is abnormal.
Lento eyenzakalayo noko
And the
ayijwayelekile.
matter is under review
Futhi lento
in the
isenkantolo.
High Court.
Lento lelicala lisenkantolo.
The formation now of that Section 22 committee
Ukubunjwa kuka section 22.
there is an ad hoc committee right now.
Kukhona ikomiti elibekiwe manje
Of the CRL.
lika CRL.
That committee is formed now
Lelo komiti
to
lakhelwa
work towards legislating,
lakhelwa ukuthi lilawule
coming up with a law.
liphume nomthetho.
A law that will control churches.
Umthetho ozonikeza ulawulo phezukwebandla.
There is that committee, and that committee started consultations on Monday.
Lelo komiti lelo liqale imihlangano ekumila kanje ngawo umsombuluko.
And they are not hiding there because we were there yesterday. We were
futhi
there yesterday.
futhi abaphumelelanga ngoba besilapha izolo
They are not hiding it that they are working towards the law.
or abakufihli ngoba besilapha izolo.
I can speak to you standing here confidently. So
Ngingama lana ngokuqinisekisa ukuthi
it is now out there into the open.
ukuthi manje isiphumele nje obala.
And the funny part is that they call a law self-regulation. A law can never be self-regulation.
Bayibiza nge-law self-regulation.
They say it's self-regulation.
Bayibiza nge-self-regulation.
Ukuzilawula.
Ukuzilawula thank you.
Ukuzilawula. And that is not true. There is no self-regulation that involves a law.
Akukho ukuzilawula okunomthetho.
When you speak about a law, you are talking about state interference.
Ngoba uma ukhuluma ngomthetho ukhuluma ngokungenelela kukahulumeni.
You are now introducing the control by the state into church matters.
Ngoba manje usufaka ukulawula kukahulumeni ebandleni
Into spiritual matters.
kwizinto zakwamoya.
Doctrinal issues. Doctrinal matters.
Kwizinto zezifundo
Church governance.
ekuphathweni kwebandla.
And tell me here,
Ngitshela
how do you control things of the spirit?
ukuthi uyilawula kanjani izinto zakwamoya?
How do you do that?
Kanjani?
And you have heard, surely you have heard,
Nizwile
what the CRL chairperson has been doing and saying all along.
ukuthi usihlalo we-CRL uthini?
I'm really amazed by people who say that she's working for our good.
Ngivele ngimangale ngabantu abathi usebenzela okuhle.
Can we be easily manipulated?
Sesingavele nje sikhohliseke nje
Can we
kanjani?
be easily manipulated
Sesingakhohliseka nje kanjani?
and be turned against each other?
Sibe sesilwa sodwa.
Some people believe that if there comes a law, it will deal with a specific people.
Abanye bacabanga ukuthi uma ufika umthetho uzoqondana nabantu abathize.
That is how it happened in Botswana. Ne? The Botswana people were told we need to tighten things so that we can deal with foreign pastors.
Yiloko kwenzekile eBotswana wokuthi babeke umthetho ukuze baqondane nabefundisi bokufika.
So that we can get rid of foreign pastors.
Ukuze sikwazi ukususa
Foreign
abefundisi
pastors are problematic.
ngoba abefundisi bokufika bayinkinga.
And do you know that? Then what was written down there had the blessing of pastors.
Niyazi ukuthi ukubhalwa kwalokho
Huh?
bekunesibusiso sabefundisi.
Now the government monitoring church finances, monitoring everything, how you start a church. And Abefundisi said, at least 150. You should come with 150 for you to register a church.
Manje uhulumeni usunemigomo yokuthi uliqala kanjani ibandla,
And-
ulawula kanjani ibandla, imali zebandla zenza njani. Futhi ke kuyibo futhi abefundisi abathi ufanele ukuthi ube nebandla elingu-150 ukuze uregister ibandla.
And church is starting with 150 people.
Bathi ibandla lifanele liqalwe ngabantu
How do
abawu-150.
churches start? 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. Yeah. So this one that will start with 150 people. Or in Maputo, 500.
eMaputo kufuneka ube nabazalwane abawu-500.
And in Angola, it is worse. 60,000 signatures.
E-Angola kufuneke ube no-60,000 wabazalwane.
60,000.
Oh, 66.
60,000. 60.
60,000.
Yeah.
60,000 wabazalwane ukuze uvule ibandla.
I'm not saying 6,000. Not 6,000 and not 600. 60,000. I'm emphasizing 60,000 signatures. from across the country. And those signatures have to be notarized. You pay millions, an equivalent of millions of rands in order to start one church.
Lawo ma-signature afuneke ahambelane nemali. Ukhokha izigidi zemali ukuze ukwazi ukuqala
Millions.
izigidi.
So where are you going to get that kind of money to start a church? In other words, they have managed now to limit the move of the gospel.
Uzoyithatha phi imali engako ukuze ukwazi ukuqala ibandla?
eBotswana, they got rid of about 200 foreign pastors.
Bakwazi ukuxosha abefundisi bokufika abayile lapha.
But they were left with a serious problem now.
Kodwa bavele basala nenkinga yangempela.
It's not easy to start a church.
Ngoba kulula ukuqala ibandla.
And they are being monitored closely.
Futhi ke babhekiwe ngosolokhozi.
And look at what is happening now when they are groaning about what they participated in.
Uma manje bekhala ngalokhu okwenziwayo.
Only now last month,
Kwinyanga nje phelile.
they decided that, okay, we're going to allow you to remove, we're going to remove one, this thing that you don't need a 3-year degree. Because that was also a law that you need to have a 3-year degree from a recognized institution for you to can start a church, register a church.
Kwinyanga nje phelile bukhani bebehlangana bevumelana
is-
ukuthi noko asisuseke lo umgomo othi angibe nezifundo angibe nemfundo noma idegree eneminyaka emithathu ukuze ngikwazi ukuqala ibandla.
It is very dangerous to open this door,
Akulula ukuvula lo mnyango.
which
Kuyingozi.
they want to open here in South Africa.
Kuyingozi ukuvula lo mnyango lo abafuna ukuvula la eSouth Africa.
Very, very dangerous. And
Kuyingozi kakhulu.
as we speak,
Ngoba sikhuluma
processes have started already towards that.
izinhlelo zokuvula lo mnyango seyiqalile.
And with the participation
Futhi ngokubambisana
with the participation
ngokubambisana
of those who are saying we are servants of God,
abathi thina siyingcegu zikaNkulunkulu.
then you can ask yourself, where are we today?
Uyobuza uyibuza ukuthi sikuphi namhlanje.
Is Judas still betraying Jesus for
Kungabe
30 pieces of silver?
kungabe uJudasi usamdayisa yini uKristu ngamasiliva awu30?
The Lord Jesus never subjected his church to regulation
uKristu akavumanga ukuthi ibandla lakhe
by
lilawulwe
government.
nguhulumeni.
The apostles,
Abapostoli
they stood for what God sent them to do.
bama bemela lokhu uNkulunkulu
They did not want to do what was contrary to the will of God.
abafunanga ukwenza okungentando okungesiyo intando kaNkulunkulu.
The then leaders instructed them, do not preach in this name.
Noma ababephethe ngaleso sikhathi babe batshena ukuthi ningashumayeli
Do not do
ngaleli
this.
gama.
Do not do that.
Ningakwenzi lokhu
And
nalokhu.
you get put there inside the jail, and then the angel of God will appear and say, hey, go
Babekade
go
beboshwa.
preach it,
Babekade
go work.
Babekade beboshwa ibe isiyavela ingelosi ithi phuma mntanami hamba uyoshumayela ambosebenza.
The question comes to us today, between God and man, who do we listen to?
Umbuzo okithi namhlanje uthi phakathi kukaNkulunkulu kanye nendoda sithobela bani?
Because really, when we hear now this legislation of churches,
Ngoba eqinisweni uma sizwa lokhu kulawulwa kwebandla
we should know
sifanele sazi
this is unconstitutional.
sifanele sazi ukuthi lento ayikho kumgaqo siseko
It
wethu.
interferes with your rights.
Futhi imelene kanye namalungelo
It
akho.
interferes with your freedoms.
Imelene kanye nelungelo nokukhululeka kwakho.
And the freedoms cannot just be given away.
Kanti ke inkululeko akuyona afanele nje ukuthi vele iyekelele.
Rights cannot just be surrendered.
Kanti uKristu asifanele sivele simyekelele nje.
But what about the church of today?
Sithini ngebandla?
Are we willing to just surrender our rights?
Siyavuma yini ukuthi sivele siyekelele nje?
Let us listen to some of the statements of the CRL chairperson.
Uma silalela ezinye zeinkulumo zikasihlalo weCRL.
I'm so surprised when I see people agreeing with somebody who says that if you hear from your God, if you say you hear from God, you have to be taken for psychiatric evaluation. You have to be taken to a psychiatric ward.
Uthi uma uthi uzwa uNkulunkulu
In
no
other
ufanele
words-
ukuthi ubhekwe umqondo wakho.
In other words, she nullifies our faith, and she comes and she says, if you are a believer, you are mad. And we say, yes ma'am, yes ma'am.
Ngamanye
Wenze
amazwi
njani?
ngamanye amazwi uthi ngamanye amazwi ucikela phansi inkolo yethu futhi uthi wena njengekholwa awuphilile emqondweni.
When God looks at us, uthini ngathi mara serious. Uthini?
Uthini uNkulunkulu ngathi?
Uthini? Eh?
What does God say about us?
But uyahlanya wena. When you say you talk to this God,
They say you are
bese wena
crazy.
uthi
They say you are crazy when you speak to God.
Okay,
And
let
you
us
say,
listen. Let us look at
It will be an offense to practice without a license. The reality of the matter is, you have to be registered or else you'll go to jail.
The Commission for the Promotion and Protection of Rights of Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Communities, the CRL, was established to protect diversity, not to control faith. However, recent actions and public statements signal a troubling shift from oversight to overreach. Under the banner of regulation, the CRL is advancing measures that would subject churches and religious institutions to increased state control, including registration requirements, financial scrutiny, and limitations on how faith communities govern themselves.
You know, religious leaders say, God said to me. You wake up in the morning and you say you got an indication from God, you go buy your own tent, you put it there, in the evening you set up a church. We need to dislodge that power.
Statements have reached
South Africa is a nation founded on freedom of belief, dignity, and constitutional order. Yet today, those freedoms are under growing pressure.
It will be an offense to practice without a license. The reality of the matter is, you have to be registered or else you'll go to jail.
The Commission for the Promotion and Protection of Rights of Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Communities, the CRL, was established to protect diversity, not to control faith. However, recent actions and public statements signal a troubling shift from oversight to overreach. Under the banner of regulation, the CRL is advancing measures that would subject churches and religious institutions to increased state control, including registration requirements, financial scrutiny, and limitations on how faith communities govern themselves.
You know, religious leaders say, God said to me. You wake up in the morning and you say you got an indication from God, you go buy your own tent, you put it there, in the evening you set up a church. We need to dislodge that power.
Statements have reinforced this direction, framing churches as entities that must be monitored, regulated, and corrected by the state.
In this country, doctors have the Health Professionals Council, lawyers have Law Society. Every profession in this country, they are regulated by your peers. We are saying this thing called Christianity needs to be regulated as well.
While accountability is important, the narrative being pushed places government above God-given freedoms and authority above conscience. This is not about stopping abuse. This is about power.
We need as a nation to start educating our people, both young and old. We are, as the Civil Rights Commission, looking at a national public awareness campaign. We're fundraising for it. We're hoping we'll get funding from the donors. We've approached the National Lotteries Commission, for instance, and other donors to say, let's educate our people that no one talks to God. Let's just put it as bluntly as all that. If someone says to you, God was talking to me, tell them to go to the psychiatric ward. Irrespective of your calling, we are a danger to society.
The Constitution guarantees freedom of religion. It does not grant the state authority to decide how faith is practiced, led, or expressed. When government begins to define boundaries of belief, freedom is no longer free.
Religious communities against even religious leaders. Now, if we're going to be asking religious leaders if you want to be held accountable, yes or no, we're not going to find solutions. They're the ones who are abusing people. And fortunately, the NCC, which we had, took a resolution that the CRL must push in whatever way possible, even if it means going to court, to force Parliament to pass legislation that's going to protect people. This circus can't go on forever.
This does go through Parliament, everything comes through. What are the repercussions if you set up a tent and you profess to be a pastor and you're going to... Yeah.
There will be a criminal, it will be a criminal offense.
Excellent.
And you will be charged criminally for doing that. You will be registered and you will operate under a tight monitoring system. And then if you operate illegally, without the license to operate, there are criminal charges following.
History teaches us this lesson clearly. When the church becomes subject to the state, truth becomes negotiable and faith becomes permission-based. We stand at a crossroads. Silence now will be interpreted as consent. Compliance today will become control tomorrow.
We're supposed to say, oh, they don't want to be regulated. The situation doesn't work that way. If you're going to pass a law against drug lords, you don't ask drug lords if you would like to be regulated. Why is it different here? Why must we be driven by what religious leaders want? And once those individuals are being asked, would you like to be regulated or not? Of course, they'll say, yes, this is a circus for them.
This is a call to pastors, believers, and citizens who value freedom, not to resist the law, but to contend for our faith. Faith is not a department of government. The church is not a state institution, and freedom of religion is not up for negotiation. Welcome, and thank you for taking the time to engage with this.
Of slowing down, of being apologetic about anything, defenders and others? The answer is a resounding no. I have absolutely no intention of resigning, of slowing down, of being...
You have heard those statements.
Nizizwele
There are
inkulumo
many,
zakhe.
there are many. There are
Ziningi.
many.
ziningi.
And there is the current video. I don't know if it is there. You have it there, the one of Monday. The people who have been saying, yeah, Kaluva is fighting for the churches and she is doing this for our good. She is on our side. They have to watch the video of Monday, because on Monday, when she knew that the consultations of the Section 22 committee have started, when she saw now that the process is now in motion, that it has started, I'm sure she couldn't wait to tell everyone who she really is and what she wants to achieve. All those who have been saying she is for us, I want to hear what they're saying today after Monday. You know, people who have got pride, when they are forced to hide, they get irritated. They can't wait for the day they will just come out and tell you where to get off.
Labo ababekade bethi uXaluva usebenzela thina, wenzela thina, ulungisa ibandla, ulungisela thina. Ngiyafisa ukubezwa ukuthi bathini namhlanje emveni kwenkulumo yakhe yangomsombuluko.
Okay, background. There was a march.
Mhlambe ukunikeza nje i-background kancane. Bakade kukhona umbhikisho.
From what was said in that march,
Kwinto eyakhulunywa kuleyo mbhikisho.
I think it was a march by Traditional Healer Association,
Ngicabanga ukuthi leyo
Traditional Healers.
ngiyacabanga ukuthi leyo mbhikisho wawenziwe izangoma.
From what was said there,
Into eyakhulunywa lapho
you would suspect that she is the one who organized everything. Listen to what was said. Let's go.
ake simamele.
Mina ikhonza idlozi kodwa angifiki. Yes. Siyaye ethuneni lama wami nobaba wami. Amaposta ke athi lo ukukhuluma nama ancestors hawa mayakhuluma. Yeah. Bona banenkinga waba wasebenza. Yakudlale ngamgcine wena. Lele luma wami liyabuka nje kazitwenzani uzokhathana uthi uqeqe ungibone sengibuya usebuya kanjani futhi manje ngoba bese sike iwash umshayeli hayi mina ngithatha amaKristian niku zonke insuku siyathutha zonke insuku kuthiwa lesangoma sakaQaluva siyahluka sengathi kuba isangoma ngihlazi manje ngibathetha uma ngaselikhulume nje lami idlozi ngikanikela khona makhosi indaba ngathola ugobela ekuseni manje nasenithi nginogobela nina yini enani ugobela wami ngoba manje akuthukwa mina uthukwane thina phela njalo mabeyo mama kahamba uyisangoma kwenza bayisho ngani kanjani ayingami bathi ngihamba ngoba bayifuni izangoma ngoba bethu bona bano freedom of religion ninalo yini ilungelo lokholelwa ko nababuka khona
Hayi mara sivelelwe ngempela. Mara, you know what? I saw there, I got irritated, got angry, not towards Kaluva.
Uyazi ngivele nje ngaba nokuthukuthela kodwa ayokubhekise kuXaluva.
uXaluva nje nguXaluva loyo hayi.
Ah,
You know there are some people who are not really worth because now also end up on at right.
uqala uva nje hayi akafanele ukuthuthela kwami bakhona abantu
But the people that I'm angry towards,
Kodwa-
irritated with,
kodwa abantu
are
abangiphazamisa
those who are allowing her to remain in that position.
yilaba
Abasihloniphi,
yilaba abamvumelayo
abasithathi
ukuthatha
serious.
they are not respecting us
Yilabo abantu labo that I've got a problem with.
yibo ke abantu enginenkinga nabo
Why disrespect the church so much?
umuntu ocwasa ibandla kanje
To allow such a person to occupy such a position.
ukuthi bamvumele ahlale kwisikhundla esinjeya
Siyadelelwa ngempela.
we are being
Kunjalo,
disregarded.
kunjalo. You cannot conclude any other thing.
asikwazi nje
Here
ukuvumelana
is a
ngenye
person entrusted with bringing unity.
la silumuntu obekelwe ukuthi alethe ubunye
That is the CRL mandate.
leyo ngumgomo we-CRL
Angithi, Bishop, I can stand here, Mos. Thank you. I just remembered that I just came, I didn't ask you. Awuyenzi umathanda emzini womuntu. But manje ngoba ngiyathukuthela sengiyaphuma lapha ya ungibeke khona ngimala. All right, okay, I'm allowed. Now, listen to this.
lalela lokhu
Eh? There is a person
nangu umuntu
occupying a position of being a chairperson of a chapter 9 institution.
obamba isikhundla sokuba usihlalo we-chapter 9 institution
That position comes with responsibility.
lesa sikhundla siza noxanduva nesiXhosa.
Nama responsibility.
Ne-responsibility.
So there you are given a mandate to promote peace, to promote unity.
unikezwe ukuthi uqhubekeze ubunye kanye nokukhulisa
Strengthening the constitution.
uqinise
That is what you get paid for.
uqinise umgaqo siseko vele uholelwa lokho
You earn a salary every month for that. You are sent to do that.
uholela lokho inyanga
You
nenyanga
are supposed to promote all faith.
ufanele ukuthi ukhulise onke amabandla
And then you are found saying something like that.
kodwa utholakala usukhuluma amanyala afana nalawo
Promoting one belief
usuphakamisa enye inkolo
and
ukwedlula enye
instigating
futhi ube
people of another belief to go fight with people of another belief.
ube uthumela abanye abantu
In
benye
an
inkolo
official position.
ukuthi bayokulwa nenye inkolo ekubeni ume njengomuntu osemakhuleni
Paid by the taxes of people.
ube ukhokhelwa ngemali yentela yabantu
And then you continue to speak like that. That person is calling for a religious war.
loya muntu ukhuluma ngempi yezenkolo
Now she's going all out to calling for religious war, dividing the people of South Africa.
usephuma ulubala ukwehlukaniseni abantu baseMzantsi Afrika
But she's still allowed to operate in that position.
kodwa uvunyelwe ukuthi aqhubeke nomsebenzi wakhe
That is not right.
akukuhle
Do you know that in other countries,
uyazi ukuthi kwamanye amazwe
if you do something nyana, smaller nyana, that is against the official duties that they've given you,
uma nje wenza okuphambene okuncane okungaphambene nalokho ubukade
in
uqhashelwe
fact,
khona
you will resign before they even remove you.
kuyovele nje kucela ukuthi sule emsebenzini ungekaxwayisi
But it's like here in South Africa, we don't take ourselves serious.
kodwa la eSouth Africa kungathi nje asiyithathi serious
There is a person telling people when they are marching, those Christians, when they are doing this and that, they are not talking about me, they are fighting against you.
laba
Aibo.
bantu laba bantu uthi lapha uma amakholwa ekhuluma esenza amamashi abalwi nami balwa
And
nani.
what we are standing for is not a personal thing. It's not something on a personal level or wherever. We are saying let the constitution of the country be respected by everybody. Let there be order in South Africa.
Kanti ke nathi esikumelene nako esime nako kuukuthi umgaqo siseko wase South Africa awube neorder noma awuqonde.
We are saying Christian rights matter and Christian lives matter.
Esime ngako sithi amalungelo amaKristu abalulekile.
We are saying let Kaluva as the chairperson of the CRL, she should have be respecting Christians, Sangomas, everybody, promoting and protecting their faith.
Sithi uma Mqaluva Mkhwanazi ufanele ukuthi ahloniphe amaKristu futhi awahloniphe namalungelo amaKristu.
But Kaluva comes and says that you are the marchers, you are not, it's like you are not supposed to march, whereas the Constitution of South Africa gives every citizen the right to protest.
Uma Mqaluva ufika athi nina niyahamba niyobhikisha ngokungathi aninalo ilungelo lokubhikisha kanti kuselungelweni lenu ngokomgaqo siseko ukuthi nibhikishe.
Being a Christian does not take away your right
Ukuthi
as a
ungumKristu
citizen.
ukuthi ungumKristu akulithathi ilungelo lokuthi ungummi wase South Africa.
That is why when you read your Bible, you will find Paul asking and saying there, is it right, is it lawful, is it legal for you to flog a Roman citizen without a trial, without having found him guilty? Is it right, is it legal? He was what? He was activating his citizen rights.
Uma ufunda iBhayibheli uzomthola uPaula ethi kusemthethweni noma kuvumelekile yini ukuthi nivele nimshaye nje umRoma nimshaye nje umRoma kusemthethweni yini.
You haven't tried him and found him guilty, but already you are doing this. He was activating his rights. He was saying that I am a Roman citizen
engekatholwa enecala.
and I've got rights as a Roman citizen.
Lapho wayekade eveza ukuthi nginalo ilungelo njengomRoma njengomhlali wakhona eRoma.
We find a man like Paul
Sithola indoda efana noPaula
arrested or being put on trial. And he goes like, you know, now I appeal to Caesar.
iboshwa noma ishushiswa.
Which means that even if you are a Christian, you don't lose your citizen rights,
Lokho kuveza ukuthi noma ungumKristu
your legal rights.
awulahlekelwa ilungelo lakho lokuba umhlali.
But people will talk against you going to court or against you marching.
Awulahlekelwa uba umhlali wase South Africa noma awulahlekelwa ilungelo lakho lomthetho kodwa uzothola abantu mabebona umasha ungathi usulahlekelwe ilungelo lakho.
And we as Christians, we have accepted that because we don't speak against it, to say that you cannot tell me not to march, you cannot tell me not to activate my citizens' rights, not to stand for my citizen rights, citizenship rights.
Kanti ke thina ke njengamaKristu sibonakala njengabantu asebuvumelile lokho ngoba asikwazi ukuma simele amalungelo ethu okuba ngabemi baseMzantsi Afrika.
All right, now it is because of things like those that are happening today with the CRL that we have the SA Church Defenders.
Kungenxa yezinto ezinjengaleziya ezenzakalayo ezenza ukuthi namhlanje sibe sine church defenders.
The SA Church Defenders is a national movement.
I South African Church Defenders iyinto kazwelonke.
It's a national movement, and this national movement stands or advocates for the rights of Christians.
South African National Defenders, Church Defenders, iyiqembu kazwelonke elimelene nokuvikela amalungelo amaKristu.
That is what we are doing, standing for the rights of Christians in Parliament.
Yingakho sifisa ukuma eParliament simele amalungelo amaKristu.
Reminding our leaders
Sikhumbuze
that
abaphathi bethu
churches have got a right to exist.
ukuthi ibandla linalo ilungelo lokuthi
According to the constitution, they have got the right to govern themselves,
futhi ngokomgaqo siseko linalo ilungelo lokuthi
To
liyilawule
self-regulate.
lona. Liyilawule lona.
and we have got a right to believe in whatever that we want to believe in and the way we want to believe.
Futhi sinelungelo lokuthi sikholwe nokuma yini esifanele ukuthi sikholwe.
And we check the laws that are proposed,
Futhi sibhekile imithetho ebekiwe
to see that they don't violate the rights of churches, of Christians.
ukuthi ayimelananga yini nelungelo lamaKristu.
We are not on the level of your fraternal, pastors' fraternal or church organizations. This is a national movement where fraternals are there, organizations are there. Wonke umuntu.
Asikho kwisigaba samafraternal noma kwisigaba samabandla.
This does
Kodwa
not,
sikwisigaba sikazwelonke la amafraternal namabandla ngumfela ndawonye.
this does not take you out of your organization or your wherever you believe. It doesn't take you out of your association.
Lento ayikususi noma ikhiphi ebandleni noma kwinhlanganyela noma kwifraternal okuyona.
Because the roles are different.
Ngoba imisebenzi yethu ayifani.
We have been having people who have been talking from different places. Ne?
Sithola abantu ababekade bekhuluma kwindawo ngendawo.
Voices that have been talking from different places.
Amazwi akhulumayo noma amaphimbo akhulumayo
And,
kumazinga kwindawo
There
ngendawo.
was no breakthrough.
Futhi bekungekho ukuphumelela.
Up until we came together and began to speak in one voice.
Saze sama sisonke ukuze sikhulume ngevoice elilodwa
Up
noma ngephimbo
until
elilodwa.
we got united and we begin to speak in one voice.
Saze sababanye sakhuluma ngephimbo elilodwa.
And that is where now we are seeing that something is happening,
Yingakho ke manje sesikwazi ukubona ukuthi kukhona okwenzakalayo.
which is very important for us to have this voice.
Futhi lokho kubalulekile ngoba libalulekile lelizwi elilodwa.
Very, very important.
Libalulekile lelizwi elilodwa.
When we are still pointing at each other saying, I don't like that one, I don't understand that one,
Ngenkathi sikhombana ukuthi angimthandi loya, angim-understandi loya, futhi angimphiwe loya.
things are getting out of hand.
Izinto azenzeki ngohlobo ekufanele ukuthi zenzeke ngalo.
You know, people who are outside,
Abantu abangaphandle
when they look at you, they say that one is of the church. There is no difference.
mabebheka wena bathi loya uyakholwa awukho umehluko.
When they deal with you as the church.
Uma bebheke wena babheka wena njengebandla ababheki.
Futhi, they don't come and say that is a true prophet, that is a false prophet, that is a true pastor, that is a false pastor.
Futhi mabebheka wena bathi lo ungumprofeti wamanga, lo ungumpostoli, lo ungubishop.
When we are divided,
Kodwa uma sehlukene
we are easy to conquer.
kulula ukuthi sinqotshwe.
And that is what even Kaluva begged on.
And yilokho nayo uXaluva ame ngakho.
To say that they will never come together, these people, and say anything.
ukuthi ibandla ngeke lime libambane libe linye.
So what is the church defender doing right now?
Ibandla i-church defenders yenzani ke manje?
We conduct workshops like these ones,
Senza ama workshops afana nalawa
different provinces,
kuyifunda ezahlukahlukene.
creating awareness.
Senza uqwashisa.
Creating awareness, equipping the church with knowledge of what is happening,
Siqwashise futhi sifundise ibandla ngokwenzakalayo.
so that there may be action.
Ukuze kube khona okwenzakalayo.
Knowledge is power.
Ngoba ulwazi lungamandla.
Knowledge is power.
Ulwazi.
You know how to act appropriately when you have got the right information.
Uyazi ukuthi ufanele ukuthi wenzeni uma unemfundiso eqondile.
That is why we are going around the country,
Yingakho sihamba izwe lonke
making everybody to become awake.
ukuthi senze wonke umuntu ukuthi avuke.
And let me tell you that if the church defenders did not start opposing what is going on,
Uyabona angikutshene uma i-church defenders ibingaqalanga yamelana naloko okwenzakalayo.
even Umam Kaluva says it that we would be far by now.
Uthi ngefanele ukuthi sesisekudeni manje.
Hey, because really she intended to do this and get this law passed quick.
Ngoba inhloso yakhe bewukuthi ayenze lo mthetho ukuthi uphasiswe ngokusheshsha.
But because of church defenders,
Kodwa ngenxa ye-church defenders
there are those frustrations.
kukhona lokuqinezelelo.
Ngoba we are saying it that you cannot do things that are unconstitutional in our country. Everybody has to adhere by the constitution.
Ngoba sime ngokuthi ayikho into efanele ukuthi yenziwe ngaphandle komgaqo siseko wase-South Africa.
Everybody has to adhere to the constitution, irrespective of who
Wonke
you are.
umuntu ufanele ukuthi athobele umgaqo.
Nobody is above the law.
Akekho umuntu ongaphezulu komthetho.
Now, in order to create awareness
Ukuze sikwazi ukuqwashisa
and in order to can be able to be heard,
nokuthi kuze sikwazi ukuzwiwa.
we have had 3 marches already.
Manje sesinamamashi awu-3.
One happened Union Building, 8th of October 2025.
Sayenza e-Union Building.
That is the march that made many people throughout the country to know that there is a problem that we are facing.
Yenza leyo mashi leyo yakwazi ukubavula amehlo abantu base-South Africa ukuthi babone ukuthi ikhona into eyenziwayo.
And we presented a memorandum to the presidency, office of the presidency at Union Building.
Samnikeza umongameli izikhalazo zethu.
On our memorandums,
Kwizikhalazo zethu
we are saying let them remove Umam Kalov.
sacela ukuthi akamsuse umama uXaluva
She has fired herself from that position.
ngoba nguyena oseyixoshile,
She's not representing her office.
ngoba akasayivezi iofisi lakhe.
Just by saying that you should be taken to a psychiatric ward,
Ngokuthi nje athi ufanele ukuthi usiwe kwabaphazamisekile ngokomqondo.
she is nullifying the very same faith that she's supposed to protect.
Uvele nje wacindezelela phansi inkolo ekufanele ukuthi ayivikele.
She is not fit for that office.
Noko akalungele leya position.
And number 2, we
Okwesibili,
are saying that Section 22 committee,
leya section 22 committee,
though the CRL has got a right to form a Section 22 committee,
yebo iCRL inalo ilungelo lokuyikhanda leya committee.
this Section 22 committee that is working right now did not follow the CRL Act.
Le committee ekhona manje ayilandelanga imigomo kanye nemithetho yayo iCRL.
Though they are allowed to form a Section 22 committee,
Noma
they are
benalo-
supposed to follow the CRL Act.
Noma benalo ilungelo lokuthi bayikhande isection 22 committee, kodwa bayikhande ngokungemthetho wabo njenge-CRL.
So we are saying that let that CRL Section 22 committee be disbanded.
Sithi ke leya committee ekhandiwe ayichithwe.
And another thing is, that Section 22 committee is not a representative of the Christian population of South Africa.
Leya CRL committee ayibuvezi ubuKristu bonke base South Africa.
Most of you
Ayiwamelelanga
are not
onke amaKrestu.
represented there. Though Kaluva will claim that those people who are there in the Section 22 committee, they represent more than 45 million of Christians. That is a lie.
Noma yena uKaluva engasho ukuthi leya committee imelele abantu aba plus minus 45 million kodwa noko ayimelele wonke amaKristu.
We have heard so many contradictions from Umam Kaluva. Akakhulumi into A1 today and it is still the same thing tomorrow. She changes just like that.
Noko kunolimi olungaqondile uMamXaluva namhlanje ukhuluma eyiphikisi.
Now, that Section 22 committee now, the purpose for which it is formed,
Le section 22 ekhona manje yakhelwe ukuthi
the CRL is not allowed to do that.
the CRL ayinalo ilungelo lokuyenza leyo.
You cannot have a Section 22 committee of the CRL seeking to pass a law to come up with legislation. Not in this country.
Awukwazi ukuba ne committee emile ukwenzela ukuthi ikwazi ukukhanda umthetho ozophasiswa eSouth Africa.
And can I tell you that
Anginike
back 2018, is it 27, 2018, 2019, 20, during that time, that period of time,
muva nje ko 2018 2017 ngaso leso sikhathi
there were hearings that were conducted. This
kunenhlanganiso
matter was dealt with
ezenziwa.
in Parliament. Parliament rejected it, did not agree to pass a law to control the churches.
Kuneziphakamiso ezenziwa zaze zayofika naseParlamente. IParlamente yabe isilwisana nalokho ingavumelani nako
Now,
ukuthi ibandla
where
lilawulwe.
does the chairperson of the CRL get a mandate from?
Yena ke uMamXaluva ukuthatha phi
Because it was rejected.
ukuthi akwenze lokho ngoba iParlamente ayizange ikuphasise.
Now she comes back, she lies to the public of South Africa.
Ubuya manje uzoqamba manga umphakathi wase South Africa.
She says this is a recommendation of Parliament. That is a lie.
Uthi lento yisiphakamiso seParlamente lawo kungamanga.
That is not true.
Futhi akusile iqiniso.
So our memorandum is standing against that Section 22 committee as well. We are demanding that let it be disbanded.
Incwadi yememorandum yethu iyasho ukuthi lo mama ufanele ukuthi asule ngoba
Let Parliament intervene.
Siyacela ukuthi iParlamente futhi ingenelele kuloko.
And we marched again to Cape Town Parliament, to Parliament on the 13th of November.
Saphinda futhi sabhikisha ukuya eKapa kwiParlament.
The memorandum that was presented to the Speaker is getting attention as we speak.
Memorandum esayinikeza usomlomo weParlamente bayayibheka njengoba sikhuluma.
It was after that march
Kusemveni kwalowo mbhikisho
that the Cocta Portfolio Committee sat and called the CRL about this matter of trying to regulate the church.
Kusemveni kwalowo mbhikisho ukuthi iportfolio yakwaCocta noma yokulawula ngokubambisana imfonele uCRL ibisithi asize sizoxoxisana ngalolu daba.
Yeah, they said, and after that we were also called.
Saye sesiyabizwa
Different religious groups,
njengamakholwa ohlukahlukene.
African traditional religion, and also the Muslims. We made our submission.
Njengaba ama-Afrika ngamaKrestu ama-Muslim kanjalo kanjalo.
And there was consensus
Futhi kwaba nesivumelwano
that Kaluva has to go.
ukuthi uMamXaluva ufanele ukuthi aye ekhaya.
In those submissions,
Nga- nga-
all religious groups were saying she has to go.
lezo iphakamiso zathi umam Xaluva hambe ekhaya.
And after that,
Emveni kwalokho
there was another sitting recently,
kwaba khona futhi
2 weeks
okunye
back, or 2 or 3 weeks back.
kwaba khona futhi okunye ukuhlala cishe kumaveki amabili noma amathathu adlule.
Again, Parliament's Cocta Portfolio Committee
Nakhona futhi ukhokta
And-
waseParliament.
this time the submission was saying,
Manje isiphakamiso sasithi
suspend this person, investigate her,
miseni lo muntu nibe
And remove
seniyamhlola
him.
nibe seniyamsusa.
and according to their parliamentary laws.
Ngoba ngokomthetho wabo eParliament
That is the current submission that is before the Cocta Portfolio Committee, before Parliament right now.
isiphakamiso leso esiphambi kweParliament leso.
So let me
sokuthi
tell you that if people say that why are you marching, you are not supposed to march, let us go and read our Bibles. God spoke to Joshua, man, march around Jericho.
noma bekhona abanye abathi yini eyenza ukuthi nibhikishe nenzeni awu uma singabhikishi kusho ukuthi azambeke siyofunda amabhayibheli.
What happened to the walls of Jericho?
Kungani noJoshua wabhikisha zawindonga zeJeriko.
They fell. And we sing about it, we talk about it, we preach about it.
Siyashumayela ngakho siyacula ngakho ukubhikisha kukaJoshua.
We marched at Union Building.
Samasha eUnion Building.
The walls that were surrounding this deception of CRL is working for you, or the secret of what is being done to the churches, they collapsed and everybody began to see that, hey, there is the real agenda exposed.
Indonga zamanga athi uCRL usebenzela thina zawa ngombhikisho wase Union Buildings.
Number 2, in Parliament, submissions were being made and ignored, but that much of Cape Town collapsed those walls, and the Parliament now is forced to deal with the memorandum that we presented.
Number 2, eParliamente uma sibeke iphakamiso beyikade zinganakwa kodwa ngenxa yombhikisho esawenza eKapa namhlanje iParliamente isibuyekeza iphakamiso zethu.
And we marched on the 12th of March in Durban. A big march happened in Durban. It was a very big one.
12 March samasha eDurban.
We did. And after that march,
Emva kwaleyo march
we came back and had a meeting at Luthuli House with the ANC.
ngabe sengiba nomhlangano eLuthuli House kanye neANC.
And we also had a meeting after that with the president, the deputy president, and their top leaders there, top leadership.
Then saba nomhlangano nomongameli nephini lakhe kanye futhi nezikhulu ezisehhovisi lakhe.
Because truth be spoken,
Asilikhuluma iqiniso.
the president who appointed Xaluva is the ANC president.
Umongameli owabeka uXaluva ngoweANC.
And by the way, at the end of Xaluva's first term,
Futhi
religious leaders wrote a submission to say that don't appoint this woman again.
futhi uma esekhishiwe uXaluva okokuqala amakholwa abhala incwadi ethi ningambuyisi lo mama.
And truth be spoken,
Asilikhuluma iqiniso.
though we have got the GNU
Noma sinawo umfela ndawonye wombusazwe
kind of government,
wombusazwe
the ANC is still leading.
kodwa iANC yiyo ehola.
So if they raise it in parliament to say that Xaluva should go, obviously it will carry weight.
Uma iANC iphakamisa ukuthi uXaluva ufanele ukuthi ahambe ekhaya vele lokho kuzoba namandla.
That is what we have been doing as the SACD. And yesterday we went and made a submission to the CRL Section 22 committee in protest to say that we don't support you, We don't believe that you are legally formed, and that which you are doing has to stop because it's unconstitutional.
Yilokho ke besikwenza noma esikwenzayo njenge South African Defenders Church Defenders ukuthi sisho ukuthi lento athina asimelene kanye nayo yilokhu nalokho esikufunayo.
And we have taken this CRL to court
Futhi simthathile ku CRL samuse enkantolo
to say that they have to review, the court has to review and set aside the Section 22 committee, and also that Kaluva has to be removed. And we are not the only ones who took that to court. Even the Muslims have got a court case saying Kaluva has to be removed, and more are still coming.
sathi uXaluva ufanele ukuthi aphume futhi ke nawo ama-Muslim nawo athi uXaluva must go akhaya.
So, servants of God, we cannot just fold our arms.
Bantwana bakaThixo
This
asikwazi
fight needs everyone, it needs every one of us.
bantwana bakaThixo asikwazi ukugoqizana.
We need to unite.
Lempi idinga thina sonke sibe banye.
Everybody has to become a church defender.
Wonke umuntu ufanele ukuthi
Otherwise, the enemy is gunning for us.
wonke umuntu ufanele ukuthi abe yi-church defender
The laws,
noma
the
sithini.
restrictions that are proposed, they are going to close a lot of churches.
Imigomo ebekwayo izosivalela njengamakhomo
Rwanda is groaning, crying right now.
futhi izowavala amabandla.
It happened to them, churches are closed.
NaseRwanda kwenziwe njalo
Now,
amabandla avaliwe.
Rwanda is very small, but about 10,000 churches are already closed, very small.
Amabandla ayile lapha ku 10,000 asevaliwe eRwanda. Noma iRwanda incane kunathi.
Angola, it has happened. Uganda, they are fighting just like us. Kenya also, with a very strong constitution like ours that protects religious freedom, they are